Pures of all types have been some of the strongest PKing accounts in RuneScape history. In fact, according to this video from KempQ, the most powerful PKing account in history had 99 strength at just 52 combat, and went on an 80 kill streak without dying. Accounts like these can be very difficult and time consuming to make, with some methods taking days of playtime to even just be unlocked. A few years ago when the Blast Furnace was introduced, a new method was uncovered. You were able to get up to 12,000 strength XP per hour without gaining XP in any other skill almost immediately after the account's creation. This allowed much more casual players to get into PKing and create accounts without the previously needed huge time commitment. This could be changing very soon though. The title of this video may seem a little dramatic, but you'll see why in just a minute. I got a message on Discord a few weeks back that the past few months people have been crashing the pump and making it nearly impossible for anyone to gain XP. He told me that the past few weeks various different crashers had come through, all with different reasons to crash. Some hated pures, others hated the bots that used the pump, and some were crashing to try and get them to hop worlds and use a pump that they charged money for. I needed more information, so I put my detective hat on and got to work on my alt undercover at the Blast Furnace pump. Alright, so it's day one of the investigation, I guess if you can call it that. I'm just hoping to get a general idea of how this method works, and it might be weird to say this, hopefully we can find someone crashing. Okay, so I literally just got here, and this world's being crashed by, I think these guys in clown suits. I'm not really too sure, but they're telling me a guy named David is crashing, which is a little bit confusing. Someone else told me to hop to 325, which is a PvP world, where supposedly no one's really crashing, and I'm getting XP, so it looks like that's the case. And I'm assuming that guy up north is supposed to be protecting everyone here. I've spent probably about an hour now on 319 trying to figure out how this whole system works, and now I think I can pretty easily explain it. So the way you gain strength XP here is obviously by operating this pump. So right now you see I'm not gaining any strength XP. First we have to check three different things. We have to check if this pipe is broken, which it's not. We have to check if this pipe is broken, which it's also not. And we have to check if this furnace is full of coke. And since those two pipes are unbroken, that can only mean that the furnace is not full. So we have to fill up the spades with the coke from this little box right here. And once that's full of that, you get strength XP. It's really that simple. Now, this is how other people crash it. So I'm pumping over here. My main is going to get on this bike over here and start pedaling. You should hear a strange noise. I don't know if the recording will pick it up here in a couple seconds, because what's going to happen is either one of these pipes is going to break or the conveyor belt is going to break. If the conveyor belt breaks, that doesn't mean anything for us. Our XP doesn't change. As you can see, however, my XP has gone away because I have not refilled the furnace. Alright, so there you go. You finally heard one of those strange noises, hopefully. If not, there's the visual representation here of this pipe being broken. So I'm going to get my main off the bike real quick. As you can see, the conveyor belt isn't moving. It's not broken. This pipe is unbroken, and this pipe is broken. I'm going to fill up the furnace real quick just to show you that even if I fill it up, we won't be getting strength XP. And you'll notice we're not getting XP. I'll put my main back on the bike. Still nothing happens. So what we have to do is we have to go over here, repair this pipe. And you'll notice, now that I've done that, we will start getting XP again. And there we go. So that's pretty much how someone crashes this. They just get on the bike. If this thing breaks, they just fix it, and they continue until the pipes break. Once the pipes break, the XP stops, and the thing becomes useless. On 319, where there's a lot more people using the pump, you'll notice that these pipes break far more often than they do right now. Since it's just two accounts here right now, this thing barely ever breaks. These pipes, they barely ever break. It's much easier to crash on a high population world. One more thing I figured I should note is that, as you can see here, this thing is broken. This thing being broken does not affect our XP whatsoever, and as long as the conveyor belt isn't moving, then these pipes will never break, and you're basically indefinitely able to get strength XP here. So it's been a few hours now. I've been talking to the people that have been getting crashed, and now I'm trying to get information from the people that are crashing them. And on my alt account, none of them actually ended up responding to me, so I've hopped over to my main in hopes of getting some information. So I've been talking to these two for a little bit, and it seems as if they're here solely to get rid of, I guess, the people that are botting their PK builds. And they pointed out to me that there's actually a decent amount of them. Every time you see someone type, dot, or like 2 dots in the chat, that person is auto-typing so that they stay logged in longer than the 5-minute timeout, which is a really interesting way of doing this. It's fairly obvious that they're botting, which should make them really easy to ban, so I'm not really sure why they're doing that. So I ended up cutting a deal with the crashers where they said that they wouldn't crash as long as I reported the guys that were auto-typing on my PMod account. And I only really did that because it was pretty obvious that they were macroing, and the deal seemed pretty good. The guy in the clown suit ended up leaving, but the guy in the iron armor that you see standing by the pipes stayed for a little while and kept up that end of the bargain. However, he randomly logged out at one point and was immediately replaced by someone else who said he was being paid by the David guy that I talked about earlier, who was wanting people to supposedly use his world so that way he could earn money off of the pump or something like that. I have no clue if that's actually true or if they're just trying to maybe slander his name and their competition or something like that, but hopefully I can figure that out fairly soon. So it's day 2 now. I ended up meeting a guy at the blast furnace who actually told me he'd give me more info on this whole situation. I'm going to blur his name for obvious reasons, but he's told me that this has been going on for at minimum a year, and it seems to happen every day. There's a small group of people that seem to do it, anywhere from about 5 to 15 people that crash this world, with their main reason supposedly being to get rid of all the bots on 3.19, even though some of those same people do hop around worlds to where there aren't bots and crash those worlds as well. I asked him about the David guy, and all he could really offer me is that he's heard that he charges or wants donations actually for using his worlds that, he controls. I didn't end up spending too much time at Blast Furnace the rest of that day, but I was told that there were no crashers at all that day, which is supposedly really unusual. So I don't know, maybe they heard I was making a video about it or something like that, I'm not really too sure. Not to mention, mid-raid, he did give me more information that there is a new clan chat created solely for the purpose of being able to, use the pump in a PvP world without getting crashed. However, the person that informed me about this whole situation on Discord told me that this is pretty common and that these clans disappear pretty fast because the same people that crash get into the clan chat and figure out what's going on. So I ended up joining the clan chat, and so far it's been kind of a mess because it's on a PvP world and people are constantly misclicking each other and accidentally attacking them. You can't really tell who's a PKer and who's actually trying to use the pump. You can't tell who's a crasher or anything like that. It's really strange. I mean, so far it's getting the job done, but it's really unusual. I probably should have seen this coming, but there's like a decent sized clan fight happening down here now. I mean, the furnace is still going. There's still no crashers, technically. So a crasher actually finally ended up showing up, and they kept logging in and out, so that way they couldn't be attacked and they could still, get the conveyor belt working again. It took about 10 minutes, but they did finally get him, so this system, it works. It's not ideal, but it'll work for now. So what did these couple days of work lead us to? First of all, we have the pump users. They're getting crashed by 3 separate groups. People who are trying to sabotage the bots using the pump, people who are trying to charge a premium for people to use the pump, and a small clan of players who simply want pures gone. Now, what can actually be done about all this? Although there are anti-crash techniques like using a PvP world or constantly fixing the pipes, crashing takes much less effort and the anti-crash methods can still be easily countered. The only way anything will ever get done about any of this is if Jagex himself steps in and takes a stance. Otherwise, I think we'll see a lot of once popular PvP builds go extinct, which ultimately could kill PvP itself. Let me know how you feel about all this in the comments below, or in my clan chat or Discord, which are both linked in the description. I will see you in the next one.